All right, welcome into another Auburn Live show. Appreciate everybody for joining us. I'm Justin Hokinson, as always. Thanks for coming on. AuburnLive.com is all the Auburn news you need on 3 Sports Network, so make sure you're subscribed to AuburnLive.com. And we appreciate everybody being a part of that and joining in on the Auburn Live show. Massive success for us so far on the Auburn Live show, like tons of downloads. We're pushing 100,000 downloads a month already, so it's been awesome. It's been an awesome start to the site and the show, and we appreciate everybody's support. With me today is such a fun special guest, I think, Miss Sandra Wooten, mother of Auburn linebacker Chandler Wooten. Miss Wooten, how are you?
I am doing wonderful. Hello, thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So I wanted to have you on because I follow you on Twitter, obviously. And I just love how involved you are. You're at Penn State. You're at there's the lights.
The lights.
You're at Penn State. You're at LSU, and you're just so active. Oh, there they are. Are they coming back on? There we go. Just every few minutes, just kind of throw something across the room.
I guess I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah, just keep them going. But you're just so active and fun and involved, and I thought it'd be great to get your perspective. So I appreciate you hopping on with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think where to start. Let's go back to like last year a little bit, because last year was crazy
Yes.
with COVID and obviously Chandler sitting out. What was that like? Him going through that decision and not getting, not playing, and just kind of the craziness of last year. Like, what was that like for you and Chandler?
Yeah. Well, when we first, the pandemic first hit, and it was really right at the same time that we found out that him and Cameron, his girlfriend, was expecting. And so, just a lot of things in life in general that was going on as to all of us, how we were dealing with the pandemic. And so when he came to us with, what his thoughts were, his decision was, for us, it was a no-brainer as a family, because we knew where his heart was and how he, was only thinking about the safety and health of his unborn child and Cameron and just in general, he loves football. I have 3 sons and all of them love football, but Chandler loves football. And so for him to make that decision, I know it was a hard one. It was a tough one, but it was the right one. And so I was so proud of him when he, told us. He didn't ask us for our input on the front end. He just kind of called us and shared with us where he was with that. And so, we're going to support him, obviously, through anything. But it was just a great feel to know that he, will put that in perspective based upon how much he loves football. So, yeah, it was family.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That was probably just such a tough deal to sit out. And then of course he's super involved with rallies on campus last year, and so he really became really quickly a voice. I think of maybe of the other side of things, especially in Auburn, without getting into all the politics of it. But so then you fast forward, last season kind of goes the way it does. It's just kind of a wash for everybody. Everybody gets a year of eligibility back and all that. So then you have a coaching change. And I wanted to, as one of the things I couldn't wait to ask you. Going back, gosh, I guess we talked to Bryan Harsin, might have been the beginning of fall camp or something.
Okay.
And he was asked about Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
And he brought up a conversation he had with Chandler when he first got to Auburn. I'm sure you already saw this quote. And it caught some people took it the wrong way, because Bryan, Coach Harsin came out and said, I wanted to talk to him and see how much he really loved football. Right. And some people took that as, really, you went in questioning the guy's love of football because he didn't want to play because of COVID. And I don't think that was what Coach Harsin, meant. And I thought it was amazing to have Chandler Wooten came out and he kind of defended. He goes, I would have asked the same thing of myself.
Right. Yeah.
What do you make of you probably were aware of that conversation when it happened, when Coach Harsin was like, are you in this? Like you said out last year, I'm just trying to figure it out. What do you kind of make of that relationship?
Well, when I first, because like I said, we don't do a whole lot of, digging into, I just love to support the team and the coaches. I don't do a whole lot of digging, calling Chandler, asking him, all that stuff like that. I don't do that. So I actually, when I heard about the comment that Coach Harsin said, it was through media, social media. I read it. Yeah. So he didn't call me and say, Coach Harsin had the nerve. He didn't do any of that because that's just not the guy he is. But when I read it, I knew from a perspective of a mother, because Coach Harsin has a job to do. And so when you have to mix, caring about players, doing your job, it was understandable that, because he didn't know what he was walking into and he had to assess every player. So it didn't hit me a wrong way, because I kind of thought that's what any good coach would ask and say and try to find out. And one, I can appreciate Coach Harsin asking that, because then you just kind of, it's authentic, where they're coming from. So, and then meeting Coach Harsin directly, and then just how he interacts with the players' parents and families through meetings and messages and letters, his heart is in the right place. And so you can appreciate a coach when his heart is in the right place and asking the hard questions or making the hard decisions. Because it's twofold. It's business as well as, doing his job, as well as making sure he's taking care of the heart of the team. So it didn't hit me the wrong way, either way. So.
Yeah. I just thought that was fascinating. And to hear Chandler's answer to that and response and of their relationship and how, Harsin, from listening to Coach Harsin, I can tell you, it's hard to impress him. That's my impression. Like he is just, if you're not doing all he cares about is doing the little things. Like if you're not doing that, and honestly, the most glowing praise he's given about any player on the team is Chandler Wooten. His comments about Chandler, about him respecting him as a father, respecting him as a man, and them just having kind of a bond through that conversation. You have Chandler, a guy who said, I'm not going to play. I'm going to deal with, I think, I'm not going to play, and then, that could be a tough thing for Bryan Harsin to,
right.
deal with, and they have a hard conversation. But for them to come out of it with the relationship they have,
yes,
is, I think, kind of amazing.
Right. I agree too, because for me, it was, I could tell they have a special relationship. And I can say that because as a mother, you want your son, and I say this, I don't care how old they get, they're going to always be my babies. I tell people all the time, he's 22 years. I say, I don't care. He's my baby. And so, you want that kind of leader and male figure in your son's life. And this is what Coach Harsin has brought to the table. Chandler has played with Auburn. This is his fourth year. Of course, not with the year he opted out. And so to still see him have a glow in his eyes for playing and being out there on the field, that lets me know that the coaching staff has done that, has given, because he was out for 20 months. And so they have, kind of given him a new fire for football. And I can appreciate that as a mom, because that's all I want him to do, is to do what he loves to do and be passionate about it. And the coaches allow him to do that. He has a great relationship with Coach Harsin. And I can see why, because again, when I met him, I'm one of those kind of people, I like to, kind of feel people out. And I was impressed with Coach Harsin as well. So I was like, yes, he's the right leader for Auburn at this time in this season. And not just because he's got a skill set for football, but he's a people person. You can feel that. You can feel that. And so I think when you get the people side of it right, everything else will kind of, you want your players to feel excited about playing for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you get the people side of it right, then everything else will fall into place, because they got mad talent on the team, so, now you just got to get the players ready to play for you. Talent. So, yeah.
I think you have such a unique perspective, because with Bryan Harsin being so new, that's the thing I've noticed from fans on our message board and other places. They're just trying to figure out who he is. And every decision he's making is being analyzed, because they're just trying to figure out, like, okay, what's he about? And then
Yeah.
they're just analyzing it like crazy. And so I think I've told people that, look, I don't know what the future holds. Like there's so many things, recruiting or injuries, or so many things that dictate how, what your record is going to end up being. But I think approach wise, in my opinion, it's hard to find many faults with how Coach Harsin approaches, coaching and the players and what it takes to win and attention to detail and building a culture of doing it every day. Like it's hard to find a lot of fault in that. I think you bring interesting perspective because you've obviously, had conversations with him.
And when I saw his theme, 1-0, every game is 1-0. And, he's like, okay, and then I sat back and thought about it and I was like, yeah, because really all you're doing is looking at what is in front of you, taking care of business at that perspective. I'm not looking at my schedule all down the line because that's what we we have one of the toughest schedules in the SEC.
No doubt.
And it just keeps coming. So you can't get that. I tell Chandler all the time, we always say as a family, playing football is 90% mental and, 10% skill and talent. So it's the mindset that you have to stick with. And I like what Coach Harsin is doing with them because they're 1-0. Every game we're going to win right here, 1-0, so I love that concept. And it keeps the players, I think, centered. Because that's what you want. You don't want them analyzing all that. We get enough of that on social media.
Yeah.
So great how he hums that in the locker room with that theme, that mantra that we're going to always stay 1-0. We're going to be 1-0 and tackle every game with that same energy and concept. When I tell Chandler all the time, when we text, and I always text him before games, after the game, of course, we see him in post game, so it's always, continue to keep that focus. I say, play to the clock, say 0-0-0-0. I don't care what the score. I don't care what the other team is doing. You all are just as talented, and every talented team that comes to the field is anybody's game. I don't care what you come to the game with. And so play to the clock, say 0-0-0-0. And that's what we did when we was in high school. Well, league in middle school, high school, and now through college. So that's no different now that he's, so mature in the game. I still tell him, say, play to the clock, say 0-0-0-0.
What's it been like to travel? So I see you went to Penn State, you went to LSU. What is it like to be a parent and go to these road games? I mean, home games, you're probably a little more familiar. It's a place, you get a little bit more of the amenities. You can probably be in under the stadium or have access to things. And you go on the road and you're there like a fan. Really like a fan, and you're in the stand. What was Penn State like? What was LSU like?
Okay, I'll tell you, Penn State, their fans and the people in the city were absolutely phenomenal. Now, I'll tell you, Auburn fans showed up. They weren't expecting us to show up in numbers because of how far it was. But you really could tell we got a great fan base. We were oranged out as much as we could. It was still a lot of white. We were definitely outnumbered. But it was a great atmosphere. People was asking us, were we okay? Because like you said, you don't know where you're going. All of that. And so they were so nice inside the stadium. We were outnumbered for sure. They was loud. It was a hostile environment. I was like, okay, our guys has got it tough. But the fans, for the most part, were absolutely phenomenal. And then they turned around and said the same thing about us. So it was a great experience. I knew it was going to be fun because, it was estimated to be over 100,000 people, and it certainly was. And so it's been great. We enjoyed our stay. We flew there. And then, of course, the night before, and then we had a little time there before the game, and then we, flew back Sunday. So the experience of traveling has been fun because it's been places that we haven't, been able to go to and visit before. So we've been enjoying that as a family as well. It's typically me, my husband, and my sister. His aunt, we call her T-Mama. She's like a mom to my children. And so it's typically us that's definitely traveling. LSU, my husband and I had to drive it. Yeah. And so we went down early. We stayed in Mobile. Alabama, and then we went the rest of the way to Baton Rouge. And so since it was an evening game, and because it was raining, I don't think it was, we've been to an LSU game before, and it was bananas. It was so many fans, and the tailgating was off the chain. So since it was raining last Saturday, it was still busy, but not as busy as it could have been, I think, because it's such a high-powered game. But LSU fans, they're just as nice too. We haven't had any problem now. At last couple of times, obviously they've won, and so of course, except that we was leaving the campus, because after we saw Chandler off, we was leaving the campus. It was cleared. It was like, where's LSU? Because they usually be still tailgating. They Saturday. I can see they didn't look like losing, so real quick.
Got out of there. They got out of there.
Yeah.
What an exciting game. Down to the wire. What was it like to watch him punching in at the end? Watch Bo Nix run around like a madman. A lot of drama.
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, when the first couple of quarters, I says, okay, we just got to settle down. Because sometimes, and especially when you're on the road, it really can be a lot more extra, because it's just so much, and then with the noise from the crowd, and it just plays a little bit more when you're away. I can get that, and so I just kept saying, "Oh, settle down. Y'all got to get settled," and that was just across the board with the defense, with the offense, with everybody. Just play your game. Think about your game, and of course you always want to lift up the coaches and help them with their decision making. And so as a fan, all you do is we got to play it to the end. It's okay, and we kept it close. So I was really happy about that, even though I thought it could have been a little bit more. They could have had way more points because what was going on in the first half. But at halftime, I was like, okay, we're still in it. We're still close. It's not far away from us. We just got to settle down and play Auburn football. That's all I knew. Is just we got the talent. I always say that all the time. Ain't no team's talent is better than our men. Got the talent. So we just got to settle down and play our ball, do what we do best. And so, and that's what we did.
Exciting.
It was exciting.
Exciting game. Well, we got a big one this weekend. Georgia comes to town. Obviously, you got Chandlers from Georgia. You're in Georgia, just north of Atlanta. Atlanta's Georgia country, north of Atlanta. A lot of Georgia fans. I'm sure you've grown up around them. I'm sure Chandler grew up around them.
Mm-hmm.
What is this game? What's this game mean to man? Because I've been following Auburn football for a long time, and every year this game usually. It's it's a little less maybe now, but boy, back in the 90s and the 2000s, there used to be. You'd have a good, you'd probably have a solid 30 or 40% of your team at least would be from Georgia. This game was huge. This was the Iron Bowl for the Georgia players. And then you had the actual Iron Bowl where Georgia players could help the Alabama guys win their game and vice versa. And so this is just, Auburn has so many players from Georgia every year that it's such a big game for those guys. What's it like for Chandler and you? What's this rivalry mean to you guys?
Yeah, you're right. We have a lot of friends that are Georgia Bulldog grads, alums, and families that are intertwining and into Georgia. So it's a great school. They have a great team. But we are just excited about what our team, because they don't expect them to hold their own.
Yeah.
See some of the the little stats about how the spread, the little score spread, and I was like, okay, we ain't no little beautiful team now. We got some talent. So I just hope that our guys use that as the necessary fuel, because I think we both have great teams. This is going to be a really, really great game. I think we have to stay focused, and I do like that we have the home field advantage, and the crowd has definitely got to be the 12th man. The field. We have got to really, step it up and keep our guys hyped, and just that energy that down, because they're home, they're at home, so they can kind of feel a little bit comfortable about that. team, they do really well about analyzing film. I know Chandler does. Chandler analyzes film like crazy. So you best believe he already knows the ins and out of what Georgia's team is bringing from an offensive standpoint. And as a leader for Auburn, he's keeping his teammates know about that. And they are too. We've got some very, very smart, skilled, talented young men. And so they're prepared. They're going to be ready. It's just a matter of, again, taking the time to get your mental right and stay in the game. And so Georgia's gonna come out blazing. So we can't not do that. You know, we got to come out blazing as well and show them that we are the caliber team that, you know, you're ready. We're ready for you just like you're ready for us. So I don't think, you know, again, I just think they're just looking at Auburn as we're trying to rebuild. And I don't think we're rebuilding. We've got a lot of veteran players. And we've got a lot of players that know how to be in championship and high-powered games. So, you know, we just got to kind of either tune some of that out and then just know that what we got on the field is going to be enough. And it will be. It will be.
What is it like for Chandler to be a dad and play college football and deal with school? I mean, we hear so much about the demands on just being a student athlete, like alone. It's crazy what these guys are required to do now to be a part of the athletic programs, especially football. I mean, you got coaches making millions, so it's a program. I mean, you're watching film, and there's a ton of demands, and then you got to make your grades. And then now he's a dad. I got a 2.5-year-old, so I couldn't imagine doing that. I mean, I have that in a job. If I had that job in school, it would be crazy. Let alone for a 22-year-old kid. What's it been like for him to adjust and it's definitely a different life for a college student.
It's definitely been adjustment, but Chandler has taken it on with a lot of grit. And when I tell you, it's something about the special relationship he has now with his son. I guess, listening to us, rambling about how much we love our children, but until you have your own, you don't really know what that's like. And so I think he's kind of letting that all sink in now. And then he has a great support base. Cam is a phenomenal in making sure she's doing what she's doing to allow him to be where he needs to be. So they're working as a team and a unit. And then, of course, her family and our side of the family, we give them that necessary support. But, they're all in. Both of them are so all in. And it's just amazing to see them evolve into parents and how well they take care of Chance. I'm just so proud of them. But, he says when he's doing his family life on Monday, they don't have practice and so forth. Monday is his family life. And he's all in when it's Monday. And then, again, when he has to go off and do what he has to do, it's a job for him. And so Cam has to take the load thereafter. So yeah, it's been interesting to see him blossom into that role for sure.
Yeah, it's been I think from the outside looking in, I think Chandler has become, just from my perspective, I think Chandler Wooten has become, one of the guys on the team that you look for is he's absolutely a leader. I thought it was cool that he was, named a captain that first week. And I can't remember who said it, but one of the players was like, he's always been a captain. He's always been vocal. He's always been that leader. And so I think, he made that decision last year, but then he sat out. And then coming back this year, I just think really quickly he's become one of those guys that Auburn fans respect and love and appreciate. And he'll just be one of those guys that Auburn fans will remember as just a dude who played hard and loved Auburn. And so I have a lot of respect for who he is and what he brings to the team.
He has always been, and that's one of the things I really marvel and love about Chandler, is he's always been so under the radar. He's so unassuming. He's like his dad. I'm the flamboyant one. He didn't get that from me. So I'm always out there. So he'd be like, Mom, he'll say, this is what I can, So he is definitely just, he don't want the limelight. He don't seek that out. He's not that kind of player. He's one that's going, I'm going to always lift up those around me as a team. And, he's always been like, I never forget in high school when he was going to choose where he was going to go. And we had, done the recruiting road, and probably did about 6 or 7 visits. And he knew he was going to choose Auburn. He had already told us that some, time before. But he was like, Mom, I don't want to take away from, because they were doing a great run with the season. He said, I don't want to take away from all of that, because it was just all about, where you going to go? Where you going to? He says, no, it's we got to get the team, we got to handle business on the field. And I'll do my, what is it called? Selection, whatever. They have all these different things they do now. I says, okay. So, I was so proud of him, because again, it wasn't about him. He was thinking about the team and how that would affect the team and the mindset of the team. And so he's always been a great leader in that respect. And so, to see him evolve into the leadership role at Auburn, we're not surprised. We're so, so honored and happy to be a part of the journey with him. So let's just.
Do y'all have like a little a parents club? Like when you travel to these games or home games, are there some player parents that you sit with or that you text during the week? I mean, do you have like a linebacker moms club that you're like, what?
Yeah, no, we don't. We have a Facebook parent Auburn club.
Okay.
That helps us keep, like in the know. And I have to say, Auburn administrative team, they're always so good about making sure we know what game day information is, and we get emails about that. But then we have the Facebook parent Auburn, and then we all kind of put in things about that. And of course, when we go and sit in the stadium, no matter whether we're away or home, for the most part, families are sitting together.
Yeah.
So you get to, know some of the families of players, and then you see the numbers, oh, okay, you're what's the name's mom, or you're what's the name's dad. So to kind of, and of course, cheering our guys on as a unit in the stands is always fun. And we're by the band most of the time, definitely for away games. But of course, the band is over there for the students section on home games. But it's great that we sit together. We do have a parent tailgate in most games, the home games, that you can go earlier on before Tiger Walk. And so it's been a great experience. If you are a new parent to Auburn, you're going to be embraced. If you come to the game, you go to the tailgate, it's that kind of family atmosphere, even with the parents of the athletes. And so I would love for us to be like, do more, but we're all over the country. So so we just really get a chance to come together for game day.
Yeah, that's so much fun. All right, let's end on this. If you had to give a message to Auburn fans in terms of the program and what they should maybe expect from Bryan Harsin, we talked a little bit about it earlier, but if fans are just trying to figure out who he is or the staff or who's Derek Mason or what are these guys like, what would be your message to them when they freak out over a loss, or they, fans get second guessing and it gets crazy? What's kind of your message on, hey, here's Bryan Harsin, and they're are they in good hands? Just like what's kind of your message to them about what they should expect? What kind of kids do you think they'll recruit? Just kind of give people some perspective. Let's end on that.
Okay, so what I'll say is I know for a fact that Auburn has the best fans in the world. Absolutely, hands down. And I'm not just saying that because I'm one. But, just the love that people in general have for the team. And so I would say just kind of remember that and trust the process. It is a process. Coach Harsin has come in and he's done something that I think that our players need, and he's kind of rallied them as a unit. It's not separate units here. We don't have defense and offense, especially. He's rallied them as the Auburn football team. So trust the process. It might not be a 10-0 season or whatever the case may be, but trust the process. He is the right man for the job at this season, because we've got some great talent coming in, even though some talent is moving out. But he has the heart. I think he has it right in that he wants a unit, not just pockets of success. When he doesn't look at, okay, Auburn defense is the best and offense needs to, he says Auburn football is where we are. And so you want that. Trust the process. We'll get there, I think, in some years as far as a championship team for sure. If not this season, because the season is not over with yet. Until the 0-0-0-0, we're 1-0. Okay. So trust the process. If we have a loss, it's going to be a loss. I think just like with the Penn State, it was a teachable loss. And it wasn't even I even tweeted after the Penn State loss, I can't be mad at my team because those boys played with heart. Oh my goodness. And when you play with heart and you give your best, you can't do nothing but walk away with a good feeling about that. And so, no one wants to lose, but if you have to lose, you lose with integrity, you lose with coming away with lessons. And I think that's what we did with the Penn State, game. And so trust the process is what I would say to our Auburn fans. I'm going to trust the process. I trust our coaching staff. Our guys are in great hands. So we'll trust the process and go 1-1, 1-0 at each game. How about that?
Perfect. Ms. Wood, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. We'll have to find a reason to get you back on soon. I know fans are going to love to hear your perspective, and keep tweeting. I'm going to keep following you. Hit me up if you need anything.
Okay.
And hopefully I'll see you. Maybe I'll get a chance to meet you before one of the games. But I appreciate you coming on. Thank you everybody for listening. AuburnLive.com. Make sure you go subscribe.
Subscribe.
Subscribe. Be a part of it. And we'll be back with another show as Auburn gets ready for Georgia. We'll see everybody.
Yes, Mama Wooten will be in the building.
There you go.
Y'all have a great one.
All right.
Eagle.
Or Eagle.